I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to save themselves and save their seats, but the tide is going to turn, and they are not going to be on the, the good end of that once people start really, when it really starts impacting people and the shelves are empty and their 401ks are gone, and then we're going to be in a state where there's going to be more people in poverty, more people needing services, and no one cares.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. I am on the ground from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where we are covering Bernie Sanders' Fight the Oligarchy tour. I am Ashley with Status Coup, and we are at the Bernie Sanders Fight the Oligarchy tour in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I am speaking with Jen about why she's here today, what brought you out to see Bernie Sanders, what does Fight the Oligarchy mean to you?
Well, usually I have a sign that I carry that says there's no sign big enough to list all the reasons I'm here. So it's pretty much everything and anything. It's a complete shit show, and we're losing our democracy, and we need to stand up and fight back. I mean, it's really dire at this point, and I don't think people realize it, and I think a lot of people have their head in the sand and they're just looking the other way and ignoring what's really happening out there. And if we don't do something soon, we're going to lose whatever we have left.
Absolutely, and I guess I would ask, a lot of the rhetoric within the speeches at this tour has been about working people and the many ways in which we are all struggling. So I've been asking people this same question, so I'll ask it to you as well. How are you as a working person faring right now? How would you assess the health of the country on a personal level, in your daily life?
A lot of what I do, I'm in pharma industry, so I think we will be impacted. Right now, I'm personally not impacted, but I'm fighting for other people. And that's my main goal is, I think myself, I will be okay. And I know that sounds weird, but it's more about the other people. My husband is a son of immigrants. I worry about that. I worry about just, I just worry about people being taken, children, people who are, underprivileged and are losing all of these services to them, and education, and it's just it's everything. It's really hard for me to pinpoint what I feel most passionate about. Immigration is huge for me as well, but I'm a white female American citizen. But I feel for everybody else, and I'm just LGBTQ, IA+, just everything. It's so many people, and it's really the children, senior citizens, just everyone's impacted, and I don't know how people are not more enraged.
Absolutely, and I think, we're talking about this while we're kind of staring down a recession, right? The tariffs have hit businesses hard. We were just at Mack Truck's facility in Lehigh Valley where, up to 350 people are set to be laid off. So there's all of that going on as again, a result of the tariffs. We are going to start seeing empty shelf stores coming up in the next few weeks. And, so we're talking about all of these things. Meanwhile, $163 billion in Trump's proposed budget from yesterday. There's going to be $163 billion in cuts to social services, all of the things that you just mentioned. And we are also allotting $1 trillion to the military industrial complex. So again, it's
I had to roll my eyes on that because we're going to have then a military parade. And I totally support the military. And I believe it is the 250th anniversary of the Army. I want to support that and encourage that, but we're taking all of these services away from other people to have a parade, just to gratify the ego of the egomaniac that's in office. It's just insanity. And I can't believe that the Republican Party and the leaders of the Republican Party and all the congressmen and the senators are not doing more and not standing up. If they have I mean, what's going to happen? The people are going to turn on them, and at that point, it's going to be too late for them to redeem themselves. Like, they need to get on board now, move to the right side of history, because history they will be notorious. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. And they really need to just get their acts together.
Absolutely, and just to kind of yes and you really quickly, having a military parade is a totally normal, healthy thing that non-dictators do just all the time. And as far as people getting their act together, how do you feel about the Democrats in this moment? Do you feel like they are doing enough, materially, outside of things like Cory Booker's, 25-hour-long speech? Do you feel like they're doing enough that will actually impact our lives on the ground to meet this moment that they kind of warned us about for the last, since 2015? They've been warning us that Trump was going to bring in the rise of fascism in the U.S. Are they meeting this moment now that it's here?
There are definitely some that are. I mean, I think personally a lot more needs to be done. I mean, Cory Booker's marathon speech was amazing. I mean, Senator Murphy, Senator Coons, AOC, I mean, just Senator Warren, Senator, just Duckworth. I mean, there's so many people, and I mean, of course, Jasmine Crockett is a firebrand, and Maxwell Frost. I mean, just all these people are doing what they can. It's hard because their hands are tied, and what they really need to be doing is leaning on the Republican congressmen and senators and just really getting them to our side. I mean, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to save themselves and save their seats, but the tide is going to turn, and they are not going to be on the, the good end of that once people start really, when it really starts impacting people and the shelves are empty and their 401ks are gone. Even people have 401ks. I mean, a lot of times people are just living paycheck to paycheck, and there is no extra money for people to save. And, if Social Security has cuts, if Medicare, Medicaid, if all of these services are being cut to people, they are not going to have anything to fall back on. And then we're going to be in a state where there's going to be more people in poverty, more people needing services, and no one cares to give them, a chance. And it's just, we really just need to be putting more pressure on the Republican senators and congressmen, because they're the only ones who can do anything, they have to shift over and caucus with the Democrats. And if they become independents and then can caucus with the Democrats, but we need their votes, and they need to be moved over to the other side. And that's, it's not really the people. The votes have already happened. We've already, the next election's in 2 years. So right now there's little that the people can do except really just resist, and tell their senators, tell their congressmen, call them, write them, go to their town halls, do whatever you can to keep putting pressure on them, because they have to know that there is pushback. And you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it in small little towns. You're seeing these like little protests that may not be many people, 20 people, but the more people that see other people out there resisting and protesting, the more they'll feel comfortable, hey, next time I'm going to stop and I'm going to get on board with them, and I'm going to go and stand there with them and do that. I mean, I keep protest signs in my car because if I see a rally or something on the side of the road, I'm getting out and supporting the people. I don't care who it is. And I have little dollar store paddles that are dry erase, and I keep a dry erase marker with me, and I change it to whatever the need is for the day. So I'm a huge I've been politically active. I'm regretting that I didn't do more, for Kamala. I did a lot, but I feel like I didn't do enough, and people just need to get out. They need to talk to their friends. They need to have it not be a taboo issue. People just don't feel comfortable talking to one another about it. And it causes a lot of rage internal, within families. I mean, you have people on extreme sides, and it's really hard to have those conversations. They're tough conversations, but they can be had, and they can be civil. And you know what? If they can't and people can't get on board, then sometimes you just have to let it go. Like, you just have to say. But you really need people to be talking to their family, to their friends, and just not make it a taboo. I think for so long we were taught, like, you don't talk about money, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion. But that's why I think we're so polarized, because we've not been talking about it. And because we've not been talking about it, nobody knows how to have a civil conversation about it and just have a discussion and then see both sides of the story and what everyone, is feeling. Because maybe if you just talk it out, you can persuade somebody one way or another. And I know, I was just talking to my son got his hair cut today, and the stylist was just saying she sees so many different people in her chair, like that are sitting there. And she was just saying that I think with the Democrats, a lot of times, it's the elitism. Like, people feel like they're made to feel stupid. And because when they are debating and having a conversation about it, this is something that she said, it really resonated with her, that somebody sitting in her chair was like, well, whenever I talk about it with this person, they make me feel stupid, and she was like, that really made me think that's probably where the Democrats are elitists and all this stuff. But it's just, a matter of educating people and really just talking about the issues and showing the statistics and facts of what's really happening, because we don't know who to trust or what to trust anymore, and misinformation is just running rampant, and between AI and between, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, all the different social networks, you just don't know what to believe. And so we really need to combat that as well. So.
Absolutely, and corporate media doesn't necessarily help with any of this. And I guess I would ask, on the point of having conversations with people, going out and voicing your opposition to these things, going to protests, marches, rallies, all of that kind of stuff. What can we do after that? What do you think we should all be doing to bring the momentum and bring the kind of consolidated message that you can kind of get from these rallies? Where do we go with it after we all go home? How do we integrate this into our daily lives in any way? Should we be organizing in some other fashion? What would you say?
I mean, I think it's hard because there's so many different grassroots networks, which is amazing. But I think there just needs to be a centralized almost coordination, I feel like we would be more powerful if we could if those grassroots organizations could come together and create, a central organizing command, or just, sort of, what the campaigns would do. But there's so many different small groups. I belong just within the Lehigh Valley. I belong to many different groups, or I'm on emails, so I do try and support them, but I can't support them all, and you can't support them all monetarily, but they're all doing excellent work, and some of them are just focused on different things. And I think these national rallies and days of protest and resistance, I think it could be communicated more. From what I heard is, I participated in the May Day protests, but a lot of people were unaware, and it was also because I think people are expecting it to be on a Saturday, which is when a lot of them have been. Thursday was great because it allowed people who maybe do work the weekends to attend a protest on a weekday, but a lot of the ones in this area occurred after business hours, which was, I thought, a nice touch for people, because they could come after work and they could go and support it. But the feedback I heard was that it wasn't as well advertised, and had it been more widely announced. And it's really incumbent upon the people who know about these things, and just the grassroots people, just the people who hear about it, to keep promoting it, share it on Threads, re-promote it, repost it, quote it, whatever, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, do whatever you can. Every person, no matter how big or how small, can do something to contribute to this. It doesn't have to be a colossal effort on your part. It just has to be small changes, small things you can do. Wear a button, make a protest sign. You don't have to stand there and hold the protest sign, But if you want to make one and give it to somebody else to hold for you, there's people willing to do that. It doesn't have to be. I mean, there's sessions like you can do bitch and stitch, which is like people crocheting or knitting or whatever, and they just come together. You can do it at book clubs. You can do it anywhere you have a group of people, just small little changes. And the other thing people need to do is just call out things that you see. If something is not right and people are making racist statements or comments or just being mean or to anyone else, just let them know that that's not okay. And just, I don't want to say shame them, but just say that's not okay. We don't do that, small little things, they all add up. And the more you say things to people, the more they're going to take a step back and think about what they just did, So, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions. I'm so sorry.
You are great. This is all very insightful, and I appreciate everything you've said. And I would just add, we can do everything that you outlined, and we can also do economic boycotts, we can strike, we can organize our workplaces, we can really get in there at the grassroots and hit them where, the billionaire class actually recognizes that we are hitting them, which is their capital. So
absolutely, that's another great point that you just made, like the economic boycotts. That has been shown to make an impact. People have, I know, I'm one, I have been boycotting the big box stores, except for the ones who have, and you can see from my shirt, DEI is a huge thing. It impacts so many people. It's everything, if people taking that away and not giving people a fair advantage and only allowing certain people to the table, and people think this is a bad thing. It's I don't know. There's so many things wrong.
Absolutely.
Off on every different direction, but it really, I think it's just the small things that people can do. They may not think they're a big deal, but they add up. And the more you do one thing, the more you feel comfortable doing something else. The more, if you can just bring one friend along to something and everyone just brings one more friend along or one more family member along or, just putting a little sign, a bumper sticker, whatever you want. I know people don't want to be targets. They don't want to do things to draw attention to themselves. And I get it because, if you speak out too much, who knows? There's retaliatory actions in effect for a lot of things. So I totally understand why people don't want to do it. But, it's again, we are stronger when we stand together. We are stronger in a community, and the more people come together, the more they stand up, the more they fight back, and it can be easy. It's just resistance. It's just speaking your mind and standing back. It's not when people say fight, they're like, oh, they take it the wrong way, but it's like stand up for yourself. Stand up for other people when you see things happening that shouldn't be happening.